Amen.
Well, what a day, ladies and gentlemen. Has everyone had a good day? Now, I am from Newcastle. Can everyone understand me? No! Please shout out if you can't understand me. Right, I'd actually like to start by apologising to you all, okay? Unfortunately, Peter couldn't make his mind up for a best man, so we picked the three of us. Alright? So please bear with us, as you have to get comfortable and sit through these speeches. Okay? Now, first of all, I think it only proper that I heartily congratulate two of the most wonderful people that I've had the pleasure of having in my life. So I'm sure you all want to join me in this and raise a glass and say a huge cheers to Simon and Chris. Now, before we undertake the customary duty of giving Peter an uncomfortable few minutes, as part of the official duty of the best man, to thank Peter on behalf of the bridesmaids, Cara, Fran, and the little Emily, for those kind words and for allowing them to play a part in this really special day. They all look amazing and do an outstanding job. I'm sure you'll agree. Now, it's traditional for the best man to talk about the groom's past. This is something I know Simon, Chris and I feel very qualified to do, as we have grown up from Peter from an early age and have been through a lot together. Now, if I was to go around this room and ask each of you to come up with a word to describe Peter, I'm sure on that list we'd have words included like genuine, honest, caring, compassionate, thoughtful, and maybe even shy. And dare I say it, some of you main things strikingly handsome. And while some of you may still know him as Peter, Pete, Petey, Pets, Pedro, Mr. Anderson, or even a man from the crew, my first impression of him was in the dressing room of the under-14 school rugby team. Where on my debut, I was met with tales of Psycho Anderson, Bag Your Legs Anderson, and also Chopper Anderson. So when I actually met the man in person, I was intrigued to see whether this legend was actually keeping, or whether it was a case of reserving this side of his character when he crossed over that white line. Later on school rugby days, when we were a little older, I can remember an away game in a small rural town of picturesque Northumberland called Wethbury. I'm sure you know that. I joined the short straw and had to navigate for Peter in his car. Now, from my experience in playing with other teams, it was to heighten our adrenaline levels for these battles on the pitch by listening to some pumped-up music or some rousing anthems. But no, Pete slyly took a tape out of his pocket and slipped it into the cassette player. Westlife, the Love Album. Now, I wasn't sure it was ever going to be much or if Pete was taking on a date. Indeed, Peter also has an extraordinary passion for 80s music, so it really shouldn't have come as a surprise when the Top Gun soundtrack soon followed. It was the same car journey where halfway Peter fished around in his pocket, pulled out his specs, complete with sellotape, positioned them on his nose, and then proclaimed, "Oh, that's better." For someone who is normally meticulous and thorough, his failure to pay attention to detail and remember he's supposed to drive with his glasses on was surprising to say the least. But I suppose it is these character traits that we've all come to know and love. I'll now hand you over to Chris, best man number 2.
Thank you, Ben. I've known Peter for over 15 years, and in those 15 years there have been many great memories, from paying homage to St James's Park, watching our heroes on Saturday afternoons, to lifting trophies as budding young rugby players, the numerous sleepovers at Peter Anderson's house with a legendary fried breakfast on Saturday mornings. Thank you, Sylvia. Now, most of us gathered here today will know Peter as an outstanding professional young teacher who is fully committed to his role at the Perth School. But it's very ironic. But it is very ironic that Peter's chosen career path should be to teach, given his checkered history as a schoolboy at Daymount. There are two distinct sides to Peter's time spent at school, and I personally spent the past couple of weeks wondering whether to take the high road and mention Peter's model student behaviour and attitude that led him to become a straight-A student and to successfully study history at Durham. Or do I take this opportunity as best man to revert back to Peter's early school days, and thankfully for all concerned, I have taken the high road. So Peter, you will be spared the story of the time you took it upon yourself to help yourself to an entire tray of donuts from the school canteen, waltzing straight past the numerous teachers on patrol. What can I say? Peter loves a good donut. What began as a simple game of taking one extra donut got a little out of hand. Peter was also a big fan of his own company and would go to extraordinary lengths to have some quiet Peter time. So much so, he once hid in the cupboard for an entire double period. I think it was at this point that Peter's parents were called into school to question Peter's out-of-school activities. Peter likes to go the extra mile to please people, as I'm sure you're all aware. So when a 15-man sleepover was suggested by Peter's school friends, Peter was more than happy to oblige. I think Richard and Sylvia still have nightmares about that sleepover, and numerous others to this day. Peter is a great lover of sport, and particularly playing football and rugby. Sadly, though, it seems his playing days are long gone, as the years of on-field punishment have finally caught up with his physique. Over the years, we've been treated to many versions of the famous Peter's to shuffle on the football pitch.
Hello?
But it was on the rugby pitch where Peter really excelled and became a key member of Dame Allen's first 15. In one particular match, Peter was the subject of a rather nasty collision, but needless to say, the never say die attitude instilled with him told him to get up and carry on. He did so until half-time, at which point it became apparent his leg was badly swollen. He was duly substituted, and later it was confirmed he had suffered a broken leg in hospital. He was 3 months on the sidelines. Peter was awarded the prestigious honour of sports captain in the sixth form, and it was here, I think, that seed was planted in Peter to become a school teacher. Standing tall and immensely proud, just like I am, in front of the school assembly, reciting the various school sports results of the past week. At university, Peter flourished in more ways than one into the man we see before us today, and where he met his beautiful wife, Sean. This was not before a few big ups along the way. One fond and lasting memories of Peter's 21st birthday party, which had to be seen to be believed, as he achieved the triple crown in his own bed. For those not rugby orientated, come and ask me after the formalities and I'll rugby all. Not literally, I hasten to add. I am extremely proud and honoured to be standing here today, being asked to be one of the best men, even if it did take Peter 2 months to finally ask me, as I'm sure everyone around these tables knew before me. Not sure what you were trying to say there, Peter, but your fears may have been realised after this speech. And I think I've said enough about Peter without providing too many surprises to Sean and her family. And having met Sean's family for the first time on Thursday evening, I'm not sure there was anything I could have said that would have surprised them. It was a great pleasure that I hand you over to Summit, the token best man, to conclude this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As a token best man, it's my great pleasure to conclude the speech. From the proceedings of this beautiful day, it is clear to us all that Sean is the love of Peter's life. However, having known Peter for the good part of 20 years, since his childhood, there has always been another love in Peter's life, a certain Newcastle United. For all those cynics out there who doubt Peter's love for the boys from the Toon, I think it can be quite clearly demonstrated from the day Chris, Ben and I met Peter in Newcastle to choose our outfits for today. As I'm sure you'll all agree, we all do look pretty good today. And this is on no small part due to Peter's #1 commitment over the last few months, being to the wedding And to Sean, well, so you think anyway. Having ventured into Newcastle city centre with Peter early one Saturday morning, we quickly picked out our suits as Peter had spent the entire previous day traipsing around, I'm pretty sure, every single suit shop in Newcastle. Next came the arduous task of choosing the perfect shoes to match the suit. This task commenced at about 10:30 in the morning, and after about 15 different shoe shops, I have to admit that there were rumblings of a mutiny in the ranks. Boys and shopping don't really mix, do they? Peter quickly calmed the situation, explaining how everything needed to be perfect on his special day with Sean, and surely would find some shoes pretty quickly. The mutiny subsided and peace was restored. Well, for the time being. Quickly, in the next shot though, the table somewhat turned. Peter turned to me and asked me for the time. 10 to 3, I responded. 10 to 3, Peter responded. We need to get to football. What about the wedding? And the shoes, Peter? Peter's reply is something that I'm pretty sure I'll never forget in my life. The response was, after the wedding, come on, let's go and watch the match. I'd just quickly like to round things off and take the opportunity to thank Peter's mum and dad. It's been a great day, and to Sean's parents as well. It's been beautiful. As you can see from today, Peter and Sean are very much in love. Yeah, that's right. Yes, and I'd just like to conclude with everybody raising a glass to Peter and Sean's future together, and to a long and happy marriage. To love, laughter, and happy ever after. Peter and Sean.
Peter and Sean.